Well, someone is misusing their power, misusing their authority with a group of people, or maybe you personally. Well, this could be someone who has authority in your life, for example, or maybe they have some other broader position of power. They are definitely corrupt. Okay, I'm picking up on a situation of corruption. Energetic corruption, emotional corruption, psychic corruption, financial corruption. I don't know what it is for everyone. Well, even legal corruption could be for some of you. Political corruption. And you and some others are about to uncover this corruption. The other two cards that came out are the King and Brawler. And on these cards it says control, reversal of fortune, lack of empathy, and confrontation. And this is the corrupt energy. Somebody who feels like they have some kind of ruling force in the collective or in your life. They are cold. They lack empathy. And I feel like this may come as a surprise for some of you. And for others of you, this is something you've been pointing to for a long time. This is something that you've been uncovering for a long time. You had a really good indication of what's really underneath the mask here. I feel like this person's position of power, either in your life or in the collective or out in the world, is beginning to slip, and they're revealing more and more of themselves through a kind of confrontational energy. Rather than letting things roll off their back or leaning on other people to take some of the heat. It's like they're unhinged now and they're confrontational. They're snappy. They're snooty. They are not doing a very good job of hiding their own corruption. There is a particular exhaustion that comes not from working too hard or sleeping too little, but from knowing something that nobody around you seems willing to acknowledge. From carrying the weight of a truth that everyone else has decided, for their own reasons, is more comfortable left unexamined. From being the person in the room who sees the thing clearly, and then having to decide over and over again what to do with that clarity. Most people have never had to carry that specific weight. You have been carrying it for a long time. And here, what nobody talks about when they discuss situations like this. When someone with power misuses it. When corruption exists in a space you inhabit. When a person who should trustworthy turns out to be something else entirely. Everyone focuses on the wrongdoer, on the corruption itself, on the injustice of it, and the hope for accountability. Those things matter, and they are real, and they deserve attention. But But what gets almost no attention is what it does to the person who sees it, what it actually costs internally, privately, to be someone who notices. To be the one whose instincts fired correctly from the very beginning, who felt something was wrong before they had a single piece of evidence, who spent months or perhaps years in that uncomfortable territory between knowing and being able to prove, carrying something true that they could not yet speak without being dismissed, minimized, or turned into the problem themselves. That experience leaves marks. Not always visible ones, but real ones. Think about what it requires of a person to stay in that position. To watch someone operate with a mask firmly in place while you alone can see the edges of it lifting. To be present in rooms where this person commands respect, perhaps even admiration, while something inside you quietly registers the dissonance between what everyone sees and what you know to be true. To smile, or at least to remain neutral, when everything in you wants to say, "Do you not see this? Is this not obvious to anyone else?" And then to go home and wonder if maybe you are the one who is wrong. That is perhaps the cruelest dimension of this experience. The self-doubt that gets injected into people who are seeing clearly. Because people in positions of power who operate through manipulation and deception are extraordinarily skilled at one particular thing. Not their stated expertise, not the thing that earned them their position. What they are truly skilled at is making the people who see through them feel like the problem is the seeing, not the thing being seen. Gaslighting, when it works, does not make you stop knowing the truth. It makes is you stop trusting yourself as the one who knows it. And this quiet, insidious undermining of your own perception is where the real damage of these situations lives. Not in the injustice itself, as real and significant as that is, but in what the sustained experience of being disbelieved, dismissed, or repositioned as the problem does to someone's relationship with their own mind. You started second-guessing yourself. Well, you did. Well, there were moments, probably many of them, where you looked at what you knew, what you had observed, what your instincts had been telling you with consistent clarity, and you thought, well, maybe I am reading this wrong. Well, maybe I am being unfair. Maybe the problem is that I cannot just let things go. cannot just accept things the way everyone else seems to be accepting them, cannot just stop seeing what I see. And the saddest part of that moment, the part worth sitting with, is that your doubting yourself was not a weakness. It was actually evidence of your integrity. Because if people without integrity do not question themselves this way, people who are simply looking for ammunition, who are motivated by personal grievance rather than genuine truth seeking, they do not lie awake wondering if they have it wrong. They do not apply the same scrutiny to their own perceptions that they apply to the person they are watching. The self-doubt you experienced was the mark of someone who cares about being accurate, who takes seriously the weight of their own conclusions, who understands that accusing someone, even privately, even in your own mind, is not something to do carelessly. Your caution was never cowardice. It was conscientiousness. But there is something else happening in the hidden interior of this situation that almost nobody names, and it is worth naming now. Beneath all the watchfulness, all the careful observation, all the patient waiting and the strategic restraint, beneath all of that, there is grief. Not the dramatic, obvious grief of sudden loss, the quieter kind. The grief of discovering that someone you may have once trusted or wanted to trust or were supposed to be able to trust is not who they presented themselves to be. The grief of a space that should have been safe turning out to be something else. The grief of having to redirect your energy for months or years toward protecting yourself from something that should never have required protection. You did not sign up for this. And it cost you things you will never fully be able to account for. Time, mental bandwidth. The simple, uncomplicated piece of moving through a space without your nervous system quietly monitoring for threat. The ability to be fully present in moments that deserved your full presence, when part of you was always slightly elsewhere, watching, tracking, cataloging, grace. That is not a small cost. That is an enormous one. And it rarely gets acknowledged in conversations about justice and accountability, which tend to focus outward on the wrongdoer rather than inward on the person who was wronged. Here is the deep realization, the one that has the potential to change how you relate to everything you have been carrying. The fact that you saw this clearly from early on, and did not simply look away, that is not something that happened to you. That is something you chose repeatedly all day. In the face of pressure to doubt yourself, in the face of potential social consequences all day, in the face of the sheer exhaustion of being the person who keeps watching when everyone else has decided there is nothing to see all day, you chose truth over comfort again And again, quietly, without recognition, without anyone necessarily validating that what you were doing was brave, but it genuinely, profoundly was all day. And now the masks is slipping, not because of any single dramatic moment, but because masks always slip eventually, because sustained performance of something you are not is inherently unstable all day. Because the energy required to maintain a false version of yourself, to keep all the versions of your story aligned, to manage everyone's perception simultaneously all day, to suppress the truth of your own behavior across every context is simply not sustainable indefinitely all day. And this person who once seemed so controlled, so certain, so securely positioned in their authority, they are beginning to crack. The defensiveness is showing all day. The disproportionate reactions are showing. The desperate need to control the narrative is showing all day. And the reason all of that is showing is because somewhere beneath the performance, something in them knows that the ground is shifting all day. People do not become defensive about things they are not guilty of all day. Not in that particular way, not with that specific combination of aggression and anxiety that looks like confidence from a distance, but reveals itself up close as the behavior of someone who is afraid. They are afraid. And fear in people who have built their entire identity around power and control does not make them humble. It makes them dangerous in their final hours of influence. It makes them loud where they used to be quiet, obvious where they used to be subtle, confrontational where they used to be calculated. The thing they were hiding is essentially being announced by the very behavior they are using to defend it. And you who have been watching, waiting, trusting yourself, even when trusting yourself was the harder choice, you are more prepared for this moment than you realize. You know the difference between what is true and what is being said. You have been living in that gap for long enough that you have developed a kind of clarity most people never acquire. The ability to hold steady in the presence of someone who is very skilled at making others doubt their own perception. That is not a small thing. That is actually one of the most important capacities a person can develop, and you developed it the hard way through sustained exposure to exactly the kind of reality distortion that breaks people who are not paying careful enough attention. You paid attention, and it protected you in ways you may not even fully recognize yet. The challenge now, and it is a real one, worth naming honestly, is the part of you that is simply tired. And the part that has been in this heightened state of awareness for so long that some mornings you wake up and think, I do not want to do this anymore. I do not want to keep watching, keep tracking, keep being the person who notices. I want to simply exist without any of this. I want to let it go and move forward and stop giving this situation any more of my energy. That feeling is not weakness, legitimate. That feeling is legitimate, human, and completely understandable. You have been asked to carry something very heavy for a very long time, and fatigue is the natural response to sustained effort. The desire to put it down is not a sign that you were wrong to pick it up. But here is what that exhaustion sometimes obscures. The other thing that is also true, the thing running alongside the tiredness, the quiet but persistent sense that something here is not finished. That if you walk away before the final piece falls into place, something important will remain unresolved. Not just for you, but for others who are also in this situation without your clarity or your vantage point or your particular accumulation of observed truth. Justice, when it actually arrives, tends not to announce itself in advance. It tends to arrive quietly, almost undramatically, after a long period of accumulated pressure, finally reaches the point where the structure can no longer hold. And then, all at once, what everyone insisted was stable becomes obviously broken, and what everyone dismissed one person's perception as one person perception becomes obviously true. That moment is approaching. Not because of anything dramatic you need to do, but because you have already done the most important thing. You stayed honest, stayed clear, stayed grounded in what you actually knew rather than what was more comfortable to believe. And when that moment arrives, when the truth finally surfaces in a way that can no longer be managed or minimized or explained away, you will not feel triumphant, not immediately. What you will feel first is something much quieter. Relief. The particular long-awaited relief of a person who has been holding something true for a very long time, finally being able to set it down. Of a weight being lifted, not through surrender, but through vindication of the exhausting gap between what you knew and what was acknowledged, finally, at last, closing. That relief is coming. And it is yours. You earned it, not through perfect strategy or dramatic confrontation, but through the simple, sustained, profoundly underestimated act of continuing to see clearly when everything around you was designed to make you stop.
You have somebody in your energy field that wants to give you princess treatment because you are exactly who you think you are. And whatever you're doing, whatever energy you're putting out into the universe right now, this person is drawn to it, like very attracted to it. But I'm like, I heard moth to a flame, but that didn't feel right. And then I saw this like knight in shining armor coming forward, and that felt right. Like that felt secure. This person's presence feels secure, and they bring forward this sense of safety to you. Like they're very, this person is very calm, very stoic. Like they come across as very stoic. The Game of Thrones may be significant, specifically Jon Snow, that type of vibe, like the energy of loyalty, the energy of commitment, and also just like devotion. There's so much devotion and surrender. Like this person, they really see what the two of you could be together. That's also coming through strongly, but they're not in a rush. They don't want to rush this process with you. In fact, they really want to take the time to get to know you on like a deep cellular level is coming through. So yes, physically, like they want to get to know you. Intellectually, they want to understand you, but even beyond that, like energetically, this person, if you've ever seen those posts on social media where it's like merging souls, and like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. That's what this person is like. That's what this person has been looking for, and they found that when they met you. Now, this could still be very new, so you might not have like had the chance to fully explore and express this with this person. You've also been very focused on yourself with the 10 of Wands. You've been focused on building, on cultivating safety and commitment within yourself. And the Chariot card, like you are in a really powerful forward moving energy. And I feel like that's exactly what compelled this connection to take place, is the fact that you are like, you know what? I'm going for it, moving like full steam ahead. We're diving in. And so because you are taking that approach to your life, because you are diving fully into yourself, like you are committed to taking care of yourself, to learning yourself, to growing with yourself, that is the energy that you are attracting in this love connection, commitment. Like they want to move with you. They want to move forward with you. They want to grow with you. They want to learn with you. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful energy. Angels, what else can you tell me about this love connection? Okay, interesting. Can you clarify the Six of Cups, please? Okay, so this person definitely sees you as somebody that they would desire to have children with, or desire to build a family with, grow a family. The Ace of Pentacles, this is a gift, but like you are the gift. I feel like you both bring something really powerful to the table. Like this person brings a really strong sense of security and stability and like grounded energy. And you bring the vision. Like you can see so much beyond the physical world. You might even consider yourself a seer or a healer of some sort, or like practice ritual work. Queen of Pentacles. Oh, you are such a vibrational match for this person. But the Ace of Pentacles, this person is very grounded in the 3D reality. Like they have a very good head on their shoulders. Like when it comes to money, this person knows how to make, save, and spend. Make, save, and spend and invest. Make, save, spend, and invest. And that might be where you've never really had a very solid idea of it, because it's not something that you were raised with, but it is something that you are very open to learning, and something that I even feel you moving more into, like as you move forward on your life path. But the World card here, like you have something so special and this person sees it. And worth safekeeping are the words that come to mind. Like this person wants to keep you safe with this vision. They want to honor your vision. They want to honor who you are, the Page of Pentacles and the Devil. They understand that your life has not always been easy. They understand, in fact, that you have had to work very hard for your life to be what it is. Knight of Cups, they're coming in with an emotional offer of some kind. But the Page of Pentacles and the Devil coming back to this energy, like you had to overcome so much. You really had to push like hard through your fears, through your failures to become who you are. And this person really admires that about you. And this person doesn't add to like what you've experienced in the past. Like they don't see you as any less than because of what you've been through. In fact, they might just see you as even more because of it. The Eight of Cups and the Three of Swords. You're also somebody who has taken your healing journey very seriously. Yeah, Strength card on the bottom. Like you have taken the time to really get to know yourself on such a deep level. And so the way that you are with this person, like you are very assertive. You are very sure of what you want. They are so receptive to you. Like this person genuinely just wants to give you their heart, like give you everything that they have. The Lovers coming out after that Are you kidding? This person sees you as like, yes, as the prize, but not worth putting on the shelf. Like, not the prize that you put on the shelf. No, the prize that you continue to show up. And it's almost as if like this person could be very skilled at something, and they understand what it takes to cultivate like that level of skill, like mastery of something. And they understand that you can't just put that on a shelf. Like, that's something that you continuously take care of and pour time and energy into long term. And so when it comes to you, that's how they view this relationship. And that's why it's something that you are going to genuinely be able to resonate with, because they're not just going to get you to have you and put you on a shelf and then treat you like collecting dust and like as if you're not worthy of consistent love and care. No, they are going to be like effortful with you, effortful. They are going to make sure that they are being attentive to your needs, not just in the beginning of the connection, but all throughout the connection, because they realize how much power that gives them in being attentive to you. They realize how much power is cultivated within this partnership. That is the definition of a power couple. It's two people who are consistently achieving things for themselves, but also actively participating in the partnership, like long term. And so that's how this person is showing up in this connection. So I love this for you. I am going to dive in a little bit further to this connection. If you would like to book a personal reading, you can book it through the link in my bio. You can also get a special price as a member of the Angel Archetype Society. So if you want access to the in-depth reading that I'm going to go into right after this, in fact, it's already posted, comment Angel Tarot and I will send you the details on how to join.